Hello students, so today we are going to prepare our chapter 9 and the topic is weathering. So as we have already studied earlier about the tectonic forces, the tectonic forces, they are working in the interior of the earth and they tend to cause differences in surface elevations, plateaus, plains, mountains, these are the elevations. These are called the constructive forces as they give rise to major landforms on the surface of the earth. The forces which originate on the surface of the earth act in direct opposition to the tectonic forces. Now, there are two kinds of forces actually. There are exogenetic forces and endogenetic forces. Okay. So, these external or exogenetic forces tend to reduce the difference in the surface elevation, and the external forces work together the process of weathering, erosion, transportation, deposition, etc. The sun is the main source of energy for them. The process which tend to bring the surface of the lithosphere to a common level are known as gradation. The work of gradation is done by the process of degradation or aggradation. Degradation is known as denudation also, which means to lay bare. This process of denudation includes weathering and erosion, right? Now, when we start talking about weathering, actually we should know that what is weathering. Okay, actually the term weathering is used for the breaking up or the decay of exposed rocks. Means all those rocks which we can see, those rocks which are buried underground, they do not break. Those rocks which are exposed in the air, which we can see live. Okay, those rocks, the breaking up of those rocks is called weathering. The weathering of rocks is caused by changes in temperature, frost action, plant, animal and human activity. Okay, so if you want to say that how we could define weathering means the process which involves loosening, disintegration and decomposition of rocks at or near the earth's surface. This is the definition, or you can say the process of weathering. So it is generally followed by the process of erosion, in which the weathered rock material is picked up and transported. The process which involves loosening, disintegration and decomposition of rocks at or near the earth's surface are called weathering. Once again repeated. Okay. A large number of factors and agents such as heating, cooling, freezing, thawing, plants, animals, chemical action, etc. These all phenomena help in the process of weathering, and that is how weathering occurs, right? Now, it is very important to discuss about the factors which are responsible for weathering. What are the main factors on which weathering depends, as you can say? So there are 5 factors. Okay. The natural and the amount of weathering differs not only from place to place but also from time to time as well. And the work of weathering depends mainly on the following factors. That is, types of rock. Means what is the type of rock? Suppose if the rock is hard, granite, then weathering will be less. And if it's a soft rock, sedimentary rock, then obviously weathering will be more. Okay. Secondly is the climatic condition. Climatic condition plays a very important role. Why? Because when it is hot, expansion takes place. When it is cold, contraction takes place. And due to expansion and contraction, the folds of the rocks, which are comprised of different materials, because suppose iron is there and a plain rock is there. So obviously iron expansion and contraction will be more, and in the general rock residue it will be less. So what will happen? A gap will get formed, and once they will separate from each other. That is how weathering happens. Thirdly is the type of vegetation cover. Now, which types of plants are growing? Vegetation means plants. Which types of plants are growing there? You must must have seen, like for example, people. You must be seeing that people even sometimes grows on the walls of our homes, or you will see the forts, old forts, So it grows on the forts, and the roots penetrate between the rocks, or between the portion where the rock has been joined. And what happens after some time? These roots start becoming thicker and thicker, and finally that part of the fort or that part of the wall falls down. Or old temples also you must have seen. Okay, so these types of plants are very, very harmful. Whereas some other plants are there which are having soft roots, they might be not that harmful. So this depends upon the vegetation of what types of plants are growing in which area. Vegetation depends upon there also. Secondly is the slope of land. Very, very important. See children, if the land is even, flat, then anything lying over there will be lying there for several of years. But if the land is sliding or slanting, then anything, like for example, you must have seen landslides. Okay, what is landslide? It's a kind of a weathering. One huge rock boulder from top gets released and it comes rolling down, and while rolling down, it breaks into smaller pieces. So slope of the land is also another cause for the weathering. Then the exposure of sun, wind and rain, very, very important. Okay, because the sun is the main source of heat. It gives heat to the rock and the rock expands. Similarly, wind cools the rock, so it contracts. And rain fills up in the cracks of the rocks, and when expansion and contraction takes place, at that time the gap between the rocks becomes broader and broader. In the next rain, more water gets filled, the water gets cooled, and it allows to expand, and gradually the rock finally breaks. So these are some of the factors on which weathering of rocks depends. Correct?